Hello everyone, welcome to this Stampin' Up! Independent Demonstrator Hop, hosted by me, and the other participants are Misty Blackburn and Happy Mail Stamper. Misty Blackburn is Mac Jewelry and More here on YouTube, and Happy Mail Stamper is her YouTube name as well, but her real name is Joanne. So I would appreciate if you subscribe to both of them as well and do the little hop. There's only 3 of us, it won't take that long, and we each do something different every time. So this month, this will be airing on the 20th, and I think it's at 9 a.m. Eastern, but yeah, I'm pretty sure. This month we were to do either Thinking of You or Valentine cards. So I decided to do Thinking of You because by the time this airs, Valentine's Day will be gone, and I'm pretty much kind of tired of making Valentine stuff. Anyway, so I went a little masculine, as you can see here. Let me show you what I used before I get into that. I used this Rooted in Nature two stamp set. These are the clear mount. They're not the cling, they're clear mount stamp sets, so they're before the extra clingy stuff, because this is in the annual. And I used the Thinking of You, I used this cross section, I also used this big tree here, and I did use these little trees down here as well on either one. I did not end up using any of the framelits that match. I was going to use one and then I changed my mind. So without further ado, let's get started. Well, let me show you. This is the first card. Oh, I failed to tell you what else I used. I did use the Wood Textures Designer Series paper. You know, it's got all these fabulous wood textures, just what it says. And so I think I used this one. Yes, I used this one, but I used this side. So that's, and I only have one more sheet of that left, I think, but you get all these various different wood textures. And then I also used a piece of Tranquil Textures. This is also in the annual catalog. This is fabulous paper for mixed media. I'm trying to see if I have any more of the one I used. I'm not positive. Not looking hopeful, guys. I probably have a scrap here. Let me see. Okay, yes. Well, this is the one side that I used, and on the other side are these dots, but this, what I'm using tonight, is the last of that particular paper in this. I love this paper. It's, let me just show you some of the others that come in the pack. So if you do mixed media or anything, these are great. You can do whatever you want with them, but this is like a green like a sponged effect. This one, you might remember this, I had made a little album for summertime for girls who just want to have sun. This one sort of looks like waves and things, and I used it like that. And then here's a real pale, like soft seafoam green. This is more crumb cake, and it's got the dots, so it's basically this pattern, but just in tone on tone with crumb cake. I think it's crumb cake. This is Tranquil Tide color. This one looks like, you know, one of those paint scrapers scraped across, and I used that as sand in my album. And then this one also has that same scrape texture, but in various shades of green. Then we have this deep purple, almost, yeah, it looks like various scrapings. And then this, and I think that's all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this would have been the 6th. So yeah. So those are the papers in the Tranquil Textures. They're in the annual catalog or online. And the number is 146331 if you're interested. Okay, and I will have, these will be in my blog post, and I'll have a link to that below my video. So if you're interested in the documented instructions and items used, check out my blog post and it'll have them either the same day this video goes up, which would be the 20th, or the day after. Okay, probably the day after. Anyway, this is the first one we're going to make, and it's a pretty simple card. I kept these simple tonight or today. So let me get, I've already cut my card base, which is in Sahara Sand. I've cut a piece of the wood texture paper, and that is, this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So this one is 4 by 5 1/4 down. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and use my liquid adhesive and glue that on. I'm going to try and keep this video fairly short if I can. I don't have a tendency to be able to do that, but I'm trying. Okay, then on this piece, we're actually going to stamp this big tree. You see, I just did tone on tone. So this color is Balmy Blue. We've used that before in other lives, but usually with navy and things. So, but I picked it out because I thought it looked like sky in the background. Now I could stamp the tree in a green, but I really just want the tone on tone look for this card. And I love these stamps. They have so much texture on them and things. So let me make sure I get this straight. I have my scrap paper here. And I'm going to try and get this centered as best I can. And I'm sorry, this piece of blue is 3.75 by 3.75 inches. And there we have it. Isn't that beautiful? Just beautiful. Oh, sorry. Just hit my teacup. Just cleaning my stamp over here to my right. And I will close up my ink pad and put it off my table, otherwise we will run out of room. Okay, so with that, I'm now actually just going to glue that down as well. See, really simple so far, nothing even elevated. Very easy card to make. And that's what I was going for now. And I think I said this piece is 3.75 by 3.75, and that's pretty straight. Now we have to do our, oh, I already messed up. Oops. I did mess up. We were supposed to put this, going in back of that. So what we're going to do, whoops. Leave it to Deb. We're just going to go back and forth with a couple glue dots here and lay it across, and then cut the ends. We'll have a little bit different look, so never fear. And I wanted it to be sort of like the ground there, so I'm just going to start over here, come over, and I'm going to turn it. This is the linen thread, by the way. It's not really twine, it's thread. Oops, you didn't get stuck on the dot. Get stuck on the dot, buddy. And I'm going to go one more time, back around, and then we're going to cut those ends and have them sort of loose off the edge. Let me get my shears, my snips, I guess they're called. And then I'm just going to actually snip that one. So it just looks like 3 pieces going across, and then I'll cut this one down just a little bit. I actually think I might like that better, and I don't know that I'm even going to tie a bow, but if I do, what I can do is stick a piece under there and tie a bow. Okay, so we'll wait and see how we like it. Now the next step is to do our cross section. Let me figure out what I did with that stamp. Here it is. Oops. and a piece of Whisper White, which you can see I've been using, and that's cat hair. We don't want cat hair on our stamp. Okay, so we're going to stamp this cross section in Sahara Sand. Here we go. And we're just going to tap it, and I always check it. See, I had a bare spot there. Now that's a little better. That's even better. And here we go. Just press down, and voila. And I'm actually going to do, well, no, I'm not. I'm just going to do that one. So let me wipe my stamp off, close up my ink pad, and now we're going to get Early Espresso. Sorry for my reach. And I have to put that stamp away because I need that block. I'll just take it off for now. We're going to use this block. This is Thinking of You. And we're going to do that in Early Espresso. And I check it to make sure I have good coverage on the words, not any little spaces. And then I just eyeball it to make sure it's over the stump. And doesn't really matter how you get it on as long as your words all in there. And there you go. Now, there is not a die for this particular stamp. So but it's fairly circular, right? So it's not really hard to fussy cut, which is what I've done. But you could also use the 2 1/4 inch circle punch. And let me show you, where did I put that? I'm not sure. I did one earlier. Oh, here. Nope, that's not it. Well, it just makes it less rough around the edges. I don't know how else to say it. I thought I had it right here to show you, but I apparently put it somewhere else. And I don't know where. Here it is. I found it. Sorry. This is what it would look like if you, except that's in crumb cake, if you just do the circle. And that's not bad either, because then you could take your scissors and just rough it up a little bit or whatever. Okay? Now, by the magic of video, voila. Oops. Voila, we have one already fussy cut, because I'm not going to spend the time here fussy cutting. Okay, so now we need our dimensionals, and actually, okay, never mind. Now we need our dimensionals, and we just go, I actually put, I think, 5 on, and let me turn this around so I can get these down here, because I put one in the middle. Okay, so we're just going to pop them off, and I'm trying very hard to get them right in my trash can. I just missed that one because they stick on the bottom of my slippers or my socks, and I end up tracking them downstairs. Okay, so now we're just going to position this like right about here, and then just the last thing is, I think I do want the bow on there actually. So the last thing is, we will stick this, if we can find a spot here, under, and we're going to do a cheater's bow. Let me just cut a decent length. Oops, without cutting myself. Hopefully. Okay, get it about even, and just tie a knot. We could just stop there, but we'll tie a little bow. Now the linen thread, you can separate the ends, meaning it's like strands, so you can actually, and that is way too big a bow, huh? Let me pull it tight and pull it down and down, and then we're just going to snip it. snip it. And I'll let that one a little bit longer. There. Okay, so there's our bow. Now the last thing is we're going to use these basic adhesive backed jewels because they actually have some in, and these are in the annual catalog, they actually have some in Sahara sand. So we're going to get out our take your pick tool, and we're just going to put, we're actually going to put 5 on. We're going to do 1 here. It's still masculine, but it just adds a little something something, I think. You don't have to do this, it's optional. The only reason I actually started to do this is because I thought up here needed something. Okay, so there's our first card, except that what I did on the inside of this one is I just put, stamped off and put that lovely cross section on again. So let's do that, and then we'll be completely done. The first card. And let me stamp off and then stamp. And there you go. And it's not too dark that you can't still write over it. I didn't bother putting white in because I think Sahara sand is a light enough color that it can be written on, and I wanted to keep the card pretty simple. Okay, so that is card number 1. I like it. I hope you do too. Now card number 2 though is my favorite of the two, and this is it. So what I did is I took, well, I'm just going to walk you through it. Let's just make it together. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do on this one is we are going to tear. Actually, that's not the first thing we're going to do. First thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp these trees. So let me get my Tranquil Tide, because this is Tranquil Textures. It goes with Tranquil Tide very well. And we're going to stamp some trees with this and this little evergreen tree. So let me do 1 light, and just, you know, anywhere really. And then I'm going to take this little tree and put in some dark ones. I sort of did it backwards this time. Go back here. And maybe over here off the page. Let me put another light one here. And then I think we need another dark one down here somewhere in the foreground. It's going to turn out a little different each time. And I think another light one, sort of. Yeah, I think I'll just put another light there. And I think I am going to do another light one here. Yeah. And then one more dark one right in here. So you see it's a little different this time, and actually I'm just gonna go ahead and do one there. Yep. Oh well. Okay, let me clean those off. I liked the first one I did better, but that's okay. Every one is unique. That's what makes it special. And maybe we'll just do the next step a little differently. We're going to close our Tranquil Tide. Now we're going to take out all our aggression, guys, and we're going to rip. So I want to rip the corner off anyway. Just rip part of that tree. Last time I didn't get it up so high to the top. And don't worry about the white of the paper. Maybe we'll go down a little bit here and here. And then we're going to do the bottom as well. And just rip it across. Maybe up a little bit. And maybe a little more here. However you want to do it. Actually, it's just fun, and take out your aggression. And then on the sides, I'm going to get out my older scissors. And we're just going to rough this up. Rough this side up. And you will see white here because this is not the cardstock Stampin' Up has. This is the designer series paper. It's two-sided, but in the back is a white pattern in any event. And I'm not going to like that white pattern, so we're going to so we're going to fix that too. Okay, now let me clean up that mess real quick. Okay, now what I'm going to do, what I first did is I took my sponge and I used Sahara sand and went around the edges. So that is the first thing I did. If I can open my stamp pad. So let's see, I have sort of a mixture going on here, and I just, you know, it's like using your distress inks, right? Just does the same thing. And this is Sahara sand. Okay. And go all the way around, get those edges so that white looks almost like, you know, you were doing, what did they call that? Like the woodwork, not woodworking, but where you burn the paper. It sort of looks burnt on the edges that way. And a little more over here. I think it looks cool. It looks sort of natural, right? So that's the first step. And then what I did on the first one, and I don't know if it's going to show up as well here, is I took the Balmy Blue, and what I had done on this one is I went all around these edges with the Balmy Blue, working outwards, and that made it lighter in the middle. Excuse me. So we're going to do that on the other side of the sponge, and I'm just going to brush it out this way, laying it down. So you get it darker blue around the edges, a little more concentrated Balmy Blue. And I mostly want that at the top and the bottom. And that way the trees in the center are going to be highlighted more. Like it looks a light, almost like a circle of light, see? And that's what I did there. So, sorry, I wiped my fingers off here. So that's that. I'm actually not real happy with this corner. It doesn't, it's too sharp a corner. Maybe I'll just tuck it under a little bit, maybe. Sorry. Okay, good enough. Good enough. So then we glue that down onto our card, and I use the liquid glue again. This is, I got a new one because my old one was empty and glopping, you know, what little was coming out in glops. So, and just put it on about centered. The other one I had a little bit more pronounced tears, but it's okay. It's all good. We just have a bigger forest this time. And okay, and then we need our second, voila. But on this one, I took out the early espresso, not the Sahara sand, the early espresso, and using that proper side, and I just went around the edges of this to darken it. Sorry, I was off camera. I'm sorry. So we did the same thing. We stamped it in Sahara Sand, put the Thinking of You in Early Espresso, and this just, I think, makes it pop up off the card a little more than leaving it plain. And after I did this on this card, I wanted to go back and do it on the first card, but I thought, no, we'll do them separately. Now on this one, I don't really like how I did this ribbon, and all I did is, if I can find what I did with it, I lost my thread. Goodness me. Oh, here it is. I knew it had to be here somewhere. All I did with this one is, before I put this down, I took like 4 fingers, loosely wrapped it around a couple times, and then cut it. And I laid glue dots down, and the whole point is to have it sticking out, to have it sticking out of the circle. But you can see it kind of falls apart, and it has to be bigger than the circle. So 4 fingers is about the same size as the circle. So you just loosely again wrap it, and there we go. Now if I can get it off my fingers, and then put a couple glue dots down here where I want my cross section thing to be, and I'm going to make that be the left. And sorry, we're just going to try and stick that down a little bit already. And let me get another glue dot. Oops. There we go. And put it sort of over here next to that. And we're going to put that down like this. Trying to get the end in there. And I think I got it. And then we get out our dimensionals again to put, they all want to come up tonight. Again, I want to put 5, there we go, 5 on. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll put that a little off center. So let's just take them off. We're almost done, guys, almost on our second card. Woohoo. Oops, it stuck to me. I watched another person take the point of the Take Your Pick tool or the piercing tool and got those papers off real good. Now see, this is not going to stick out a whole lot, but just a little bit. Actually, I did that one better than the first one. So there is the front of our second card. And then in the inside, I had done a little strip and a tree, but that actually didn't work real good because of the tree being off the strip. I'm just going to take the little tree and get out my Tranquil Tide, if I can find it again. The mysteries of my desk. Here it is, right on top. Okay, and I'm just going to do a stamp off. You know what? Actually, I think I'm going to do the double trees in it. Stamp off and just put them down here on the bottom. And I'm going to do the same with this one. Stamp off and just put them right in the middle. And that's it. That's the inside of our card. I don't feel a need on this one to put a piece of paper in it, and I'm not sure I have another piece that size. So let me clean that off and we'll finish up. And that's it. I'll let you hop on over to the other two if you haven't already seen theirs. And I'm hoping you're enjoying this series. Let me just get this out of the way, get that away, and show you our cards that we made. So 2 cards in 30 minutes, not bad. And this one I didn't put any bling on because I like the look of the torn paper without any bling on it. So I hope you do too. I hope you enjoyed it. These would be great masculine cards, but I would be happy receiving a card like this too. So there you go. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next month on the 20th, and come see what we do then. Again, please visit also my blog post. It will probably be up the same day, the 20th, and it'll have all the items that I used in the making of these two cards, as well as the measurements for cutting the papers. Okay? Talk to you soon. Hugs, love, and peace. Hey guys, I just forgot to do something on that last card. If you'll notice, this one, I did distress the edges of the card as well, and I didn't do that on here, so I brought my little spongy back, and I'm just going to go around the edges of the card with the Early Espresso. So my apologies, I was trying to stay under that time limit and forgot a step, and I do think it makes it look a lot better with the distressing on it. It just highlights it, makes it pop all the way around. And I even did the I did this edge too. I did all the edges. Very easy step, and it just gives such a great effect, right? I think so. And I might have just brushed that a little bit with the edge of the sponge here and here. There we go. And a little more there. Okay, I'm happy with it now, and I definitely like that better, so I hope you do too. Alright, that's all. Thank you again for watching, and hop on over to the others. Bye for now.